What you are about to hear will bring tears to your eyes. Because this is not a story about crowns or controversies or courtrooms. This is a story about a father and his children. And once you hear it, you will never see Prince Harry the same way again. Hello friends. My name is James, and you are watching Royal Daily Report, your #1 source for the most exclusive and most emotional royal stories on the internet. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now because tonight we are telling a story that every parent in the world will understand. And if you have been with us from the beginning, you already know we go deeper than anyone else. Let us get into it. He gave up a palace. He gave up a title. He gave up his country. He gave up his family. He gave up everything that had defined him since the moment he was born. And people have debated for years about why Harry did what he did. Was it Meghan? Was it the media? Was it the institution? Was it pride? But tonight we are telling you the truth that gets lost in all of that debate. The real reason Harry has never looked back. The real reason that no matter how painful the separation from his family has been, no matter how many doors have been closed and phone calls have gone unanswered, Harry has kept going. And that reason has two names: Archie and Lilibet. Tonight on Royal Daily Report, we are telling the full story of Prince Harry and his children. The sacrifices he made for them before they were even born. The life he is building for them in California. The moments behind closed doors that sources describe as pure and simple and beautiful. And the one promise Harry made to himself the day he became a father. A promise that changed everything about who he is and what he is willing to fight for. This is the story of a father's love. And it starts long before Archie took his first breath. To understand how Harry feels about his children, you have to understand what Harry grew up without. He was 12 years old when his mother died. 12 years old. He was in the back of a car being driven to Balmoral when he was told. And by his own account, in his own words, he did not fully process that grief for decades. He pushed it down. He buried it. He did what the institution expected of him. He walked behind his mother's coffin in front of the entire world at 12 years old, and he did not cry in public. He held it together because that was what was required of him. And for years, for most of his adult life, Harry carried that loss in silence. What he did not have after his mother died was a parent who sat with him in his grief, who held him, who told him it was safe to fall apart. Charles was grieving too, and the institution closed around all of them like a wall. Harry has spoken about this with a rawness that you do not often hear from royals. He has described feeling completely alone in that grief, feeling like there was nobody who could just sit with him and let him be broken for a while. And that experience, that profound childhood experience of loss and emotional isolation, is the foundation of everything Harry has become as a father. Because when Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor was born on the 6th of May 2019, something shifted in Harry that people around him described as total and immediate and complete. Sources close to the couple said Harry was overwhelmed in the delivery room, that he held his son and could not speak, that for a man who had spent years learning to manage his emotions, to keep things together, to perform strength, this was the moment all of that fell away. He was just a father holding his child, and everything else disappeared. In the weeks after Archie's birth, people who spent time with Harry described something they had never quite seen in him before. A stillness, a centeredness. He had always been known as the fun one, the energetic one, the prince who could light up a room. But this was different. This was a man who had found something to anchor himself to. Something real and permanent in his. Harry himself has said that becoming a father gave him a clarity he had never had before. That when he looked at Archie, he understood for the first time with complete certainty what mattered and what did not. And that understanding, that shift in perspective, is what drove every decision that came after. Because within months of Archie's birth, Harry and Meghan began the conversations that would eventually lead to their departure from royal life. And while many people have analyzed those conversations through the lens of Meghan's relationship with the institution, through the lens of media pressure and racism and mental health, Harry has been clear, in every interview, in every public statement, that his children were at the center of every decision he made. He did not want Archie to grow up the way he grew up. He did not want his son to be handed a life he had not chosen and then be expected to perform it without complaint. He did not want his child to walk behind a coffin at 12 years old with the whole world watching and no permission to grieve. He wanted something different. He wanted something he had never had. He wanted his child to grow up free. On the 4th of June 2021, Lilibet Diana Mountbatten Windsor was born, and Harry named her after two of the most important women in his life. Lilibet, the Queen's family nickname, the name that only the people closest to her used, and Diana, his mother, the mother he lost at 12, the mother whose absence shaped everything about who he became. In giving his daughter that name, Harry was doing something profound. He was creating a bridge between the grandmother he adored and the mother he never stopped grieving, between the past he could not change and the future he was building, between the loss that had defined him and the love that was redefining him. Sources who have spent time with the family in Montecito describe a home life that is deliberately, intentionally normal. Harry does the school run. Harry makes breakfast. Harry sits on the floor and plays with his children in a way that people around him say is completely unperformed and completely genuine. There are no cameras. There is no audience. There is just a father and his children in a kitchen in California doing the things that millions of families do every morning. And for Harry, a man who grew up in palaces, who had every material comfort and almost no emotional privacy, who was photographed from the moment he was born and scrutinized from the moment he could walk, that ordinary morning in that ordinary kitchen is everything. It is the life he chose. It is the life he fought for. It is the life he gave up a throne to protect. People have asked many times whether Harry regrets leaving, whether there are moments in the quiet of the California night when he thinks about what might have been, about the palace corridors and the ceremonial duties and the family dinners he is no longer part of. And Harry has answered that question with a consistency that tells you everything. He has said that he has no regrets about the decision to leave, that the only thing he regrets is that it had to come to that he wishes things had been different, that he wishes the institution had been able to accommodate what he and Meghan needed. But that given the choice, given the actual choice between the life he had and the life his children have now, he would make the same decision every single time. Because what his children have now is something Harry never had. They have a father who is present, fully, completely, unconditionally present. Not a father who is managing a public role and a private grief at the same time. Not a father who is constrained by protocol and expectation and institutional duty. Just a father who shows up every single day, who takes them to school and picks them up and sits with them when they are sad and celebrates with them when they are happy and is there, actually there, in a way that Harry has described with a quiet pride that is more powerful than anything he ever said from a palace balcony. There is a moment that sources close to Harry have described that captures all of this perfectly. It happened not long after the family had settled in California. Harry was in the garden with Archie. Just the two of them. And Archie did something small, fell over, got back up, laughed about it. And Harry sat there watching his son and felt something he could not immediately name. It took him a moment to identify it. And when he did, it undid him completely. What he felt was peace. Simple, uncomplicated, genuine peace. The kind of peace he had spent his entire adult life searching for. The kind of peace that no palace and no title and no amount of royal ceremony had ever been able to give him. And it was given to him by a small boy in a garden who did not know he was a prince and did not care. This is what gets lost in every debate about Harry and Meghan and the royal family and the institution. This is what gets buried under the headlines about security disputes and memoir revelations and Netflix deals and legal cases. Underneath all of it, there is just a man who grew up without enough love and who decided, when it was his turn, to do things differently. Who looked at his children and saw not a legacy or a duty or a PR opportunity, but two human beings who deserved better than what he had. And who gave up everything, the title, the country, the family, the institution, to give it to them. Charles is sick. William is distant. The doors that Harry has knocked on have mostly stayed closed. And Harry is 5,000 miles away in California, getting his children ready for school, making breakfast, sitting on the floor, and playing. And by every account, from every source, from everyone who has spent time with this family, he is happy. Not performing happy. Not publicly projecting happy. Actually, genuinely, quietly happy. In a way he never was in the palaces. In a way he never was in the ceremonial roles. In a way that only became possible when he stopped living the life that was chosen for him and started living the life he chose for his children. Archie and Lilibet will grow up knowing their father chose them. Not the crown, not the institution, not the approval of a family that struggled to give it. They will grow up knowing that when it came to the most important decision of his life, their father looked at them and chose them without hesitation and without regret. And that is a gift that no title in the world can match. That is the inheritance Harry has given his children. Not a palace, not a crown, not a place in the line of succession. A father who showed up every single day, a father who was present, a father who loved them loudly and freely and completely in a way that he himself never experienced. and who made sure, with every sacrifice and every difficult decision and every door that closed behind him, that they never would have to wonder whether they were chosen. Because they were. They always were. From the very first moment Harry held Archie in that delivery room and could not speak, they were always chosen. That is all for tonight, friends. I am James, and this has been Royal Daily Report. If this story moved you the way it moved me, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you have not already and turn on those notifications because we bring you these stories every single week. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay informed, stay curious, and stay royal. Goodbye, friends.